Welcome. In this video, we will make this header and explore how to make it responsive with MediaQuery. As you can see, when we shrink the page and elements no longer fit properly, the site automatically adapts to a mobile-friendly layout. That's what we call responsiveness. Before we begin, I just want to mention that 89% of viewers on this channel watch the videos without subscribing. So, if you find this video helpful, consider subscribing. It really helps a lot. In our File Explorer, we have a folder named Responsive Flet, and inside it, there's a main Py file. The main file already contains some starter code. And this is the I created MediaQuery manager, which we'll be using today. It helps easily manage responsiveness of page. You can find the link in the description. Now we clone this to our project directory. As accepted, it has been cloned and contains only a single file. Before we start using it, let's first adjust our page. To make the page look more minimal when it opens, we'll set its width and height to 600. Then, we'll set a soft white as the background color. And we begin with a simple example, just a basic text element. We create a variable called textDisplay and assign it a text control with the message Hello World. Set its size to 22, make it bold, and give it a black color. Finally, we'll add it to the page using its variable. Now let's run the app to see the result. And here it is. Next thing we take a look is how to use media queries. First, we'll import the class from the responsive file. Let's initialize our media variable by calling the MediaQuery class and passing in the page. This will help us access screen size details throughout our app. This class has register method that lets us define custom screen size breakpoints. We give the breakpoint a name, for example mobile. Then we pass under limit, which in our case is 0. The third argument sets the upper limit. For now, we'll set it to 360. Similarly, we register another breakpoint for desktop screens as an else case. Just a quick reminder. You can register breakpoints as many as you need, depending on your design requirements. We assign the static handler method of the MediaQuery class to the page's onResized event. Let's add a function for the mobile breakpoint with onFunction, and also you can add multiple functions for a single breakpoint. Let's define what the update forward mobile function should do. For instance, we can set it to change the text color to red when the screen size matches the mobile breakpoint. In the same way, we also register the updateItem from desktop function for the desktop breakpoint. Basically, this will be triggered when the screen doesn't match the mobile size, acting as a fallback to reset things like the text color back to black. Alright, the function is ready, so let's open up the terminal and run the app in web mode to test how it behaves. Once the browser loads, you'll see the text appears in black by default. Now, as I start shrinking the window, watch what happens. As soon as the width drops below 3060 pixels, the text turns red, and when I increase it back over 360, it switches to black again. This is how the responsive behavior kicks in based on screen size. Next, I cleared out all the initial example code, including the content inside page.add, leaving it completely empty. After that, I set page padding to 0, fixing for header, then we call header class from add function. Since header class hasn't been defined yet, I went ahead and declared it just above the main function. It inherits from Flet container. And inside its constructor, I called super.init to set things up properly. Inside the header class, I started defining the elements as properties of the header. The first one is the logo name, which in our case will be the name of the channel. I applied some styling to it as well. Then I set the content of the class to a row and added the logo element to the controls list of that row. Finally, I set the row's alignment to space between, so everything will be nicely spaced out across the header. After that, I added some padding to the header class itself, just to give it some breathing room from the edges. Then I open the terminal and run the app as usual to check how it looks. And there it is. On the screen, the text now sits slightly away from the top, thanks to the padding we just applied. In the same way, I went ahead and defined the rest of the header elements just like the logo, storing each one as a variable. All of them were then added to the row inside the content, starting with the logo on the left, page links in the center, and finally a red pretty sign-in button on the right. This whole process was shown in fast forward to save time, since it's mostly repetitive setup. So this is what it looks like now. But as you can see, it's not responsive yet. When I shrink the page, things start to mess, and some elements even disappear. That's exactly why we need to set up a proper MediaQuery for it. Just like we did earlier, inside the main function, we create the MediaQuery class instance, register breakpoints for desktop and mobile sizes, and attach the static handler method to page. Now it's time to move on to the internal logic of our custom header class. We use the dig_mount method. That's a default lifecycle method that runs when the component is added to the page. Inside it, we register a function for the mobile breakpoint. That mobile function will define what happens when we're on a smaller screen. For example, we'll hide the page links in the sign up button. And just like that, we also register another function for the desktop case, which is our else situation. And in that function, we bring everything back to its original state, making sure the layout adjusts back when the screen gets wider. Now, when the sign up button and page links are hidden on smaller screens, we want to show a menu icon instead, kind of like the standard mobile navigation toggle. To do that, we first define the icon as a class level variable, just like the other elements. Then, in our mobile update function, we make sure that this menu icon is visible on the page. By default though, meaning in the desktop layout, we keep it hidden. And finally, the result is shown in the web preview. As the page width gets smaller and hits the mobile breakpoint, the menu icon replaces the page links and the sign up button, just like we intended. That wraps up this video. If you found it helpful, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more